3.
OMG! Welcome to another episode where we bring you through a new launch that's upcoming in Marina South, which will be the very first plot out of the 16 that's upcoming.
So OMG means One Marina Gardens. So today we're just going to go through with you all the things that you need to know about this project.
This is a picture of One Marina Gardens, and it will overlook our very famous Gardens by the Bay and Marina Barrage. So people here will have a very nice sea view. Okay, so this will stand out in Marina South, and when people drive past it, you will be like, what's this?
Yeah, so basically this project will consist of sea view, your MBS view, and also your Gardens by the Bay view lah. But of course, different facing will actually reward you with the different kind of view that we're going to share with you later also. So One Marina Gardens, the developer is actually Kingsford. So Kingsford, as if you are actually following all the property news, they recently also launched Chuan Park. So other than Chuan Park, they also have done Normanton Park in the past. They have done Kingsford Water Bay. All these projects are actually quite medium to large projects. So I feel like in this manner, actually they are very, very experienced. And furthermore, we take a look at the bidders. There are 4 bidders. The Kingsford won by a mile because the next one is actually 984 PPR per plot ratio. Whereas actually for Kingsford they won by 1004. So we discussed that actually we think that they slightly overbid comparing the second and the third developer that also joined the bid.
Then number 4 is a low ball low ball.
Number 4, I'm not sure whether it's like a standard procedure for the company, but I don't know why is it there lah. But the thing is we shouldn't use that as a comparison. We should use the one that is more competitive. So we feel that actually it's slightly overbidded, but however we still have to see like what will be the launch price in the end. We have some of the indicative launch price that we're going to share with you later also.
Okay, so we move on very quickly to project info, and this site actually sits right in the middle of Marina South here, as you can see. So it will be right next to Gardens by the Bay, and will be the first plot of land parcel that will be sold and developed here in this new neighborhood. It's in walking distance from Marina South MRT station, which will be launched when the developments are up.
Okay, so just to add on to Nicole, actually this plot will be the one that there will be a lot of land plots that are selling as residential. So meaning to say right here we have a very, very good one first mover advantage here. Okay, so like we mentioned just now, Gardens by the Bay and also your MBS is over here. Just to orientate you a bit. So adding on,
the project itself will have 937 units, so that is quite big. There will be one block, later you will show the pictures, one block of 44-story units, and then another block of 30-story units. And then throughout the development, there will also be your amenities like childcare center, shops and restaurants, and communal facilities. So that's really all in one place for you.
Okay, so one thing you need to take note is actually the car park lot. Because if you actually watch our video for the past few projects, actually they are more like city fringe or maybe OCR. But the thing is now it's actually CCR. It's very, very common that actually we only have 50% of the car park lots. Because usually city or rather CCR projects are usually used for investment or maybe for rental investment. So we are expecting more tenants here. That's why the developer will only offer half of it to have a car park lot.
So looking at it pictorially, this is how the site plan looks like. Over here is the entrance, and you will come in here by the main road. Here you have your 2 blocks. This block is your 44-story block, the higher one, and then the other block is your 30-story block. Right over here is Gardens by the Bay, super famous park in Singapore. And then our Marina Barrage is right at the northeast. Okay, our CBD is right at the corner here. Super close, about like 5 minutes drive. And what's interesting is that you have an MRT here as well. Direct access.
So that will be the Marina South MRT. Yeah.
Marina South MRT. And then your future plots will all be around
here and
at
upwards
the top. Yeah. So what's very interesting for the amenities is that there is a childcare center right on the 2nd floor. And you also have your shops and your restaurants here. And most of the people here will have a pool view because you have 2 pools. This one is actually 50 meters long. So beyond the first and second floor, we also have amenities on the other stories of the blocks. Okay, so actually, right, if you're looking at the first and second floor just now, some may be wondering where is the gym. So actually, your gym is right here, the top floor, and just gives you a really good view. I think you might be motivated to go and run a bit more. So you also have other things like your yoga terrace, your games room, your function room as well. So I don't think you lack anything in terms of amenities here. Okay. So as mentioned, this is what you will get. Things like your gym, your swimming pool, and then also the green spaces around you. Gardens by the Bay is within reach if you wanna go there for relaxation or recreation. And in terms of the view, it is amazing. Yeah, you have the bay view, and you also have barrage as well. And right here you have the view of the pier.
The pier and the cruise center, I think. Yeah, so I feel that every corner, every side of the project has a different view, but every different view is very good also. It's like a city view, it's a sea view, and things like that. Yeah,
and what's amazing is that a lot of the units here have like floor to ceiling window, and you can really see views like on a 90 degree, which is quite unique.
Yeah, we can show you the plot plan later, but it's actually a curved 90 degrees, which is something also very special. We don't see a lot like this in other projects as well.
Yeah, I think I'll be mesmerized myself. Like I will just stare at this all day long, watch the clouds.
You can wake up with a view, you can do gym with a view, you can go to the balcony with a view. So view-wise, it's like how to choose the best view, right? It's not just be it nice or what, it's about the price also, which will also educate you a bit on that.
Okay. Now let's moving to connectivity. Marina South MRT is right at the doorstep of OMG. So as you can see here, the exit 4 is right at the condominium itself. And we're also connected to many lines. So not just the Thomson line, but also your red line, your green line, your downtown line, all within reach. Also, if you want to go to the expressway, it's actually 2 minutes drive to MCE and then 3 minutes drive to ECP. Okay, so OMG is also right beside the CBD, really in proximity. So let's say if you want in the CBD, this is a really nice place to live. You can just really just connect directly through MRT or drive straight into the CBD, and it's just a really nice feeling to be able to live like so seamlessly. So the current impression that a lot of people have of Marina South is that it's a very CBD area.
Very busy.
Yeah, very busy only for your upscale because of Marina Bay Sands.
It just look like harder or like not as gentle to stay in. So when people have the intention of like, hey, buy CBD project to own stay, a lot of people, you know, like really deflect it because like, wow, I want to stay in the CBD, I already work there already, why do I want to stay there? So we feel that this project actually gives you another facade or another angle to look at this.
So the plan from URA is that it will also build your residences and your amenities in this space. So there's nothing about offices or like CBD in their current plans. What's in their current plan is to build a neighborhood actually. And they talk about lively neighborhood, like 10-minute neighborhood, and also other things like your healthcare, your childcare, your food, green spaces, play as well. So I actually imagine that once this is up, it will be a very exciting place to be in. There will be a lot of new upcoming things, and I think you can really expect more than a CBD or more than like your Marina Bay Sands, your upscale in this.
Like we actually mentioned this in the Ori video, like who will actually buy into CBD area and then stay? Why actually stop them from staying? Actually, they don't have hawker centers. They don't have their local food and things like that. And then CBD just look a very city place to stay. People will think like, hey, the food very expensive and things like that. But what I like about what the government is doing to create a new township, right? They are actually extracting all the things that you need, like polyclinics, health centers, childcare, all this, right, to make it into a real town. It's not like a namesake real town lah. But I like this town. But do you know like what's the missing element here? So this one doesn't have school. If only this one has school, right? Or maybe like how Dongga have the ECS shifted over there, right? This will be very good in terms of like, you know, really township or your neighborhood and things like that lah. So we don't know what the future will be planned out, but we hope that, you know, there will be schools coming in here. That will be perfect because like we are also expecting the next 16 plot to come in also.
So this will be actually like a first mover advantage for OMG because there are so many other plot of land that has yet to be sold and developed. So actually the prices here will be quite attractive as well. And if you were to look at what URA has actually done for Marina South, very cute. They come out with like a poem for the Marina South neighborhood, and they talk about like serendipity meets, your neighbors exchange smiles and nods, cafe for hot latte, take a walk down to the coast, verdant green and homes about.
Okay. So the poem doesn't sell the project, but I think it's a good touch. So yeah, let's not recite the poem. It will take a while. So let's just move on from this.
So to let you imagine a bit more of how the neighborhood might look like, because actually this means that OMG will be a very long-term project for if you were to buy into it, and it helps if you have that kind of vision for what might come in the next 5 to 10 years. As you can see here, right, just a lot of like green, blue that's being planned out, and also a lot of like public realms for people to mix in.
So speaking about long term, like in investment wise, we feel like the time horizon for this will be a bit longer also. It won't be like 3 years and then you sell, things like that. Because one thing is, if you want to capitalize on this OMG, right, actually first thing is your rental. You share a bit more. Most people buy into like CBD is actually like investors, rental investors as well. So be it you are living in long term, even if you invest, you're also looking at long term.
So in the URA design guide, they also talk about other things. So besides your squares and courtyards and your pedestrian malls as you've seen, there will also be an elevated landscape bridge to Gardens by the Bay. So here are some pictures of how the pedestrian mall could look like. Really lively, lots of things to see and do. And also the plazas and courtyards. So I don't know, I think this kind of like brings the feel of like Paya Lebar Quarter or like Punggol, a bit
like a community
yeah,
area.
Yeah. Really just any kind of like public space, really just like a public space for everyone to enjoy. Then we also have an underground pedestrian link to Gardens by the Bay and Marina South MRT station. And then you know what? We found it something even more exciting and interesting. There will be a wellness aspect integrated into Marina South.
Wellness.
Yeah.
How can you show wellness?
By building wellness.
Like how?
Yeah,
you share with us more.
So STB, right, last year, they launched a tender to build a wellness attraction right along the edge of Marina South. So this attraction will be 4 hectares or 42,000 square meters. And it's expected to be completed in 5 years' time with things like your spa, your yoga studios, short-term retreats and more. So if you're really into health and wellness, I think this would be a very nice touch.
Well done. So now next thing, right, we are going to talk about the investment aspects of OMG. So OMG, when it comes to a property investor mind or like a buyer's mind, it's always like, hey, why you buy CBD? CBD always lose money, man. Because CBD actually acts very differently compared to your OCR, your CCR, your suburban project. Because actually they really base their valuation on the value right on the rental. Why? When people buy in, right, they are renting, they're investing. Their mind is how much they can rent out, more than anything. Okay, so we actually did some research and we want to see whether this myth actually makes sense or not. Because when you say you buy CBD, you should lose money. We also seen some records that actually people really lose money from there. We want to know why also. Okay, so what we took out is actually these 3 projects is the sale, Marina Bay Residences and Marina One Residences. Why? First thing is actually the nearest to Marina, the one OMG. Secondly, actually they are also nearby. So by right, their rental shouldn't be that different. Okay, but let's see. So from what we see, right, the sale, Marina Bay, Marina One, in the past 5 years, sale and Marina Bay actually appreciated, or like they actually gained some profit. But however, Marina One, they lost profit. by PSF lah. But when we dive in deeper, right, actually the price and the rental, they correlate in CBD projects. Okay, so when we go and see, right, their rental performance, so the sale, they have a 33% growth in their rental yield or their rental performance in terms of PSF lah, like few dollars per PSF for rental for the last 5 years. Same as Marina Bay, also about 36. Okay, so as you can see, Marina 1 actually they didn't really grow that fast in terms of the rental yield. Yeah, rental, you calculate rental yield is every month, and then you calculate the total number of rental you can receive in a year, and you divide by your value lah. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why these 3 projects, only 1 project is losing money. Okay, so now we dive even deeper into Marina 1 residences, and also we want to take a look like what are the transactions that has been done that are profitable. That means when the owners sell, right, actually they make some profit. Okay, so we take a look at these 3 transactions. One is 1 bedder, 2 are 2 bedders. Okay, so as you can see, right, when they sell, right, they actually do profit. But why? So as you can see, the first one, right, you see when they sell at January 2025, what the investor will buy is actually to buy a unit that can give you a good rental yield. Okay, so the proven why, because we have actually calculated for your December rental, right, comparing to this transaction, right, it's $6.46. So their rental yield is actually 3%. Okay, so if we are taking to the next 2 examples, actually they are also hovering about 3.44 and 3.8%. Meaning to say, right, the buyer is able, or rather willing to pay the value of 1.9, 2.3 and 2.6, right, because their rental yield in the end can get a 3.3% yield. So means that they are willing to offer at a price that actually allows them to give them the 3% yield. Okay? Because rental, you can't actually predict rental. Rental sometimes can go up and go down. You can't really control rental. So today if you want to rent 4,000 doesn't mean you confirm can rent 4,000 because it's very sensitive to the market, to the tenant supply, to economy and things like that. So as an investor, what you can do is actually to justify the buying price and also how much you should buy to make this purchase make sense comparing to the rental performance.
The price is very important lah.
For
the entry price.
For CBD, yes, because buyers buying into CBD is all about their facts and figures. If you are actually buying into a CBD, you also should be like that because it's a place for rent. Okay, so if we also look at the non-profitable transactions in Marina 1, right? So they also make a lot of 281 and lose 171. Okay, these 2 are for the first bidder that lost the most money on record, and also the 2 bidder that lost the most money on record. Okay, why did they lose it? Because they can't justify the original price that the first owner bought. Why? Because if you're using the same method to actually calculate the rental yield, right? Their rental yield, if they are buying at 1.42, right, their rental yield is 4%. So meaning to say actually it's more worth it if they buy at 1.4 million. If they buy 1.4 million, if they plus this 281 to make sure that the owner can break even, right, the rental will be 4%. Okay, same thing for the 2-bedder. The incoming buyer actually offered at 2.3 when they couldn't let the owner break even. It's because also the same thing, they are also justifying the rental yield. Rental investors or people who are actually buying as a rental property, right, they can accept about 3% to 4% yield in this area. If let's say I can buy this property and then it actually allows me, or rather it's possible for me to get a 4%, 3 to 4% yield, it's acceptable lah. Okay, so further to justify that OMG is actually, the developer is looking to attract more of investors because 70% of the projects are actually 1-bedder and 2-bedder. And most of the layout, right, is similar. So when it's similar, that means it's all about investing and also which floor level, how much price you're gonna buy into lah. So they didn't really, I want to make another layout so that I can attract homestay owners.
Similar in terms of layout and also size.
Yeah, so you see the range is 420 and 452 for 1-bedder. So it doesn't really have even if without looking at the layout, like it's not a very big difference. There's no like special. Okay, so as we mentioned, 1-bedroom has 3 types of layout, or rather 3 sizes. One look, really everything identical. What's not identical is actually the width of your foyer. Sometimes quite big, sometimes quite small lah. Okay, that's about it. And also, of course, your balcony, the length of the balcony. But apart from that, other than the view, right, actually, it's all very similar. Okay, we're not gonna dive into that, but we're just gonna give you a simplified justification. So basically, it's an open kitchen, and then it's a very long living plus kitchen, and in the end, we actually go into your master bath. It's very simple layout. It's very common as well.
You also can hack the walls to make one big space. Yeah.
Yes.
So you can see this repeating across the different bedroom types, and it gives a lot of flexibility lah.
Because one bedroom, perhaps maybe a couple stay, or maybe like a young family with a baby. So hacking this doesn't really affect your overall privacy unless you're actually hosting it. Okay, so to find out which unit in the city center to purchase, actually we want to look at a direct comparison. So today we are just going to use a direct comparison at Tanjong Pagar, which is these three projects, your Icon Village, Altes, and Sky Suites and Anson. Okay, reason why is because these three are very near the MRT, these three are also very near to each other. It's very, very comparable to what we actually mentioned in the Marina projects, your Marina 1, Sale, and your upcoming OMG. Okay, so what we found out from this analysis, right, your Sky Suite and Altes, right, there's a very, very important trend to take note. Your smaller unit, right, in size, right, actually command a better rental yield. So as you can see, $12.29, $8, very big difference. Both are one bedder. One is $1,003, one is $4,006. $300 difference, but both is one bedder. And definitely, if you see the size, right, if you are counting as PSF, right, definitely this owner pay a significantly more compared to this size. Okay, so that's what we find out. So that means what we can actually conclude from here, right? For one bedder, you buy as small as possible, makes more sense in terms of rental yield. Why I keep emphasizing rental yield? Because rental yield for this OMG, right, might play a part to exist rental yield. Okay, but as we actually look at Altes, right, Altes speaks a bit differently because 800 to 900, 500 to 600, right? Yeah, yield per PSF, right, actually is very, very similar lah. Okay, so what we can actually get a more conclusive comparison is actually to look at the third one, which is an Icon one bedder. Icon is also right beside them, but it's a bigger project, or rather they have more layouts in their one bedder. So as you can see, I separate this into bigger one bedder and a smaller one bedder. So smaller one bedder, there is 500 to 600, there is 600 to 700. So as you can see, their yield is very different. Same thing, $8, $6, but however my smaller unit command better per square feet. So 4,500, 4,000. I pay about 100 square feet more. I only earn $500 more. So which one makes more sense, buying the smaller unit? So if you're comparing the bigger units there, 700 to 800, $8, 6,000. 800 to 900 is lesser. Okay, so 800 to 900 square feet for one bedder is very big. I would say it's very oversized. And also, unless the PSF is very, very low, but this is Tanjong Pagar, so I don't think the PSF is very low. So I think as a rental vehicle, right, this one wouldn't make sense because you are buying a bigger unit, you are paying more, but you are actually renting out lesser than your neighbor who has a smaller unit. So this can actually further comprehend or further, conclude that actually for one bedder, right, for city center you should buy smaller. Your rental yield makes more sense. Okay, so now we go back to OMG one bedroom, because the one bedroom offers you three types of sizes. So for this, we just put an average. We are not putting anything higher. This is a very safe gauge of $10 PSF for rental. Because as we can see, city center actually you are yielding around $8 to $12. So I put the average $10. So this chart is not about how much you should enter at OMG. It's about the runway that you have. So how do you use this chart? Let me show you. So for example, let's say today you're at a Ballot, right? You can buy 1.25, right? Your expected runway or like your appreciation could be until 1.8. Why? When we go back to just now what we talked about, for rental investors actually they are accepting 3 to 4% rental yield if they are buying a property. Anything lower than 3, they might be hesitant. That's why you can see Marina 1 residences, the units that lost money is because of this. They lost the 3% and above rental yield. Okay, so with this, so first use is your ballot, or like maybe when developer launch the price. So for example, because they are starting from 1.16 million, developer actually announced. So when you buy 1.16 all the way to 1.6, right? Actually, it still makes sense because it's still within 3 to 4%. But however, if you buy as a first owner, if you buy at 1.6, it's very, very high. You know why? Because when it hits 1.8, right, it won't have the 3% rental yield anymore, even though it's still at the same price. Okay, you might think that, I think I just went higher lah. If you're lucky, can, because sometimes rental you cannot decide. And also, this is also just a safe gauge. Okay, so what you can do is you can actually imagine, for example, today you buy 1.25. The potential capitalization will be somewhere around here lah. Okay, so actually this will help you gauge, do you overpay for the unit that you desire. Okay, so as you can see, for price wise, you should hover about 1.4. This will be your mid range. So for my point of view, I think if your ballot number allows you to buy anything lower than 1.4, it makes sense. Because the rental yield is strong here and then you're not overpaying. You are still capping at the 3 to 4% rental yield.
What if it's above 1.4 then?
If it's above 1.4, I think it's slightly risky. But unless if you're actually just looking at passive income, you're just to hold a property using other people's money when you rent out, right? I think it's better. But 1.4 or downwards, right, give you a longer runway, or rather like a better exit strategy because you are buying lower, right? So if you are the lucky person to buy 1.16, your runway is very, very long. You are very safe, you can wait to sell. Because usually when city center property owners, they sell is when the rental is bad. That's why the rental yield affected, price also affected. So if you actually just rent it out, you have quite a big gap for you to like decide when will be your exit at. Okay, so overall, again, one bidder, please buy as low price as possible to be safer.
So just one question, if let's say the other residential plots out of the 16 are later built and launched as well, then how do you think these prices would change?
Okay, so now the starting price for OMG is 1.16. This is the first plot of land out of the 16. If you're actually looking at how developer price, or rather the land bids that are gonna be happening, this land plot will be cheaper than the next land plot. So in that manner, if let's say developer work in the same way, actually they calculate their profits in the same way, right? The next plot should be more expensive. Okay, if it's more expensive, that means you will get 1.16. You might start with 1.25. Okay. Yeah, so your 1.25, but however, right, your rental yield is still kept here because we are still calculating the same thing. Cannot be the difference between two neighboring projects, their rental can't be that different unless the layout is very, very different. So first mover advantage plus your rental here makes sense comparing to the next few plots of land.
But just to point out, right, for the 452 square feet one, actually there's only one unit, so it might be a bit competitive.
Competitive plus we don't know how developer will price this one unit. So it might be here or here lah. I think the smaller unit will still be 1.16, not this one. Okay, so the two-bedder layout, there are a few. There are your 2-bedroom, then 2-bedroom plus study, and then also 2-bedroom plus home shelter. Okay, so for rental, it will be the basic ones, which is the 646, 657, and 667. As you can see, mostly are your dumbbell layout except for your 2BR4. Okay, so the rest, same thing that we see on the one-bedder is almost everything is about the same. Your foyer, and also is it like an enclosable kitchen or is it like a open kitchen? Okay, so 2-bedroom basic ones are actually also made for rental from my point of view. I think the kitchen won't matter this much this time, because we always talk about projects, we say like, oh, enclosed kitchen is always better. I feel in this way, the enclosed or the open one doesn't matter that much in this OMG project. Okay.
But it's not good because there are actually options for you. Whereas some projects, right, they only have like open kitchens and then you have no choice. But this one is like some of the layout types, they have like enclosed kitchen, and then some they have open kitchen. So I think that's good. There's like flexibility of choice.
Yeah, I go to the 2-bedroom plus study. This is the only layout. So even though it gives you a good view here, we feel like the study could be more well positioned. Yeah, if it's like a position whereby it's like can be a storeroom or like it's not outside a bedroom, I think it will be better. But the rest is still the same. It's it's a very typical 2-bedder layout, Tam R layout.
Only one step.
Only one step. Okay, so the third type is actually your 2-bedroom plus home shelter. As the name suggests, actually it offers you a full home shelter. Okay.
Yeah, so that means very safe.
Anything happen, just go inside.
If kena bomb.
Toy. Anyway.
Yeah, and then but it's good because then you also have storage.
So I feel like overall this is a good layout for a 2-bedder because it comes with home shelter and then enclosable kitchen, and then it's quite an efficient Tam R layout. Okay, for investment wise, 2-bedder will be using the same concept or the same strategy for 1-bedder as well. So as you can see, your Sky Suites offer mostly similar size in a 2-bedder. That's why it commands the highest at $10, about 6,008. I would say it's a very decent rental yield. Okay, so our test, the pattern is repeating because the bigger unit actually is performing worse than the smaller unit. Like 7.2 and 7.5, it's $300 difference, but the size differs by 200 square feet. It's almost 20%, 20 to 30%. Okay, so we go back to Icon. Very similar situation here. So we can safely say that 1-bedder and 2-bedder you should actually decide the same way to buy as low as possible, to buy as basic as possible for your rental. Okay, the chart is very similar, but however, for 2-bedder, the runway, if you calculate your rental yield together, right, the runway will be slightly shorter. So the starting indicative price from developer actually is at 1.8 million. So 1.8 million definitely will be offered at the smaller size unit. So as you can see, when it hits about 2.4 at a $9 PSF for rental, right, it will start to drop below 3%. Okay, so it depends on how you enter, but I think average you should be able, if you have a average Q number, you should be able to enter below 2 million. Okay, so for 2 million I think for your capitalization, I think the runway is still quite high, quite long. If your better number actually allows you to buy 1-bedder, please buy 1-bedder. If not, don't overpay for 1-bedder, buy a 2-bedder instead. So now I go to the 3-bedroom dual key. 3-bedroom dual key also quite a good layout because it's separated like that. Okay, so this is a full 2-bedder. A full 2-bedder is quite efficient as well. You have your bath, you have your master have a window. Okay, then your master room, you see it's so wide and then it's quite big for a 2-bedder size.
Can fit a king size bed.
You can fit king and also put 2 side table, which is also quite hard to find. Okay, then whereas your 1-bedroom or your studio, right, also comes with your kitchenette, your own balcony as well. Overall, very simple yet very efficient also.
So also good for rental.
So 3-bedroom dual key, you can do everything rental, or you can just segregate your space. You can use your 2-bedder, then rent out this part. If not, have your extended family or even your parents to stay here. So it gives you this kind of privacy, like privacy but next door.
Yeah, so let's say you are renting out to a stranger, right? Then when you buy this, then you need to build like your own door over here if you want to like really put some boundaries to the space. If not, then you all have go through the same
yeah, I would think that this developer actually just give you flexibility first. They don't want to assume that you are renting the other one. So, because this one could be just a full 3-bedder if you want to use it. This one can be a junior master.
Yeah.
So, in this way, they don't fix it for you, but if you really want to rent out, you have to fix it. Okay, so now we take a look at the 3-bedroom together. So, for the first one is 90 square feet. It comes with a curved view. That one this is an unblocked
full floor dual frontage.
Yeah. So basically unblocked view. So they offer this, I would say it's very special. You see other projects, it's always either give you a private balcony or like one side is just panel windows. This one really give you full view.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this one, the dining and the living actually a bit more cramped. So if you compare to the other two, right, the other two actually the dining and living, the space is more continuous lah.
Yeah. So what we can do is actually, if it's for own stay, you could just hack out this door, then your master will be bigger lah. Because now, as you can see, the master is not that generous. Okay, then your 3-bedder, if you don't hack this, you can do this, you can actually extend your living also. Because, yeah, also quite limited space here for what we do. Okay, but however, we feel like overall it's still okay like this without any alteration. Okay, so for the 980 square feet, right, the first thing that struck out is actually this odd shape. But however, there's nothing concerning because it doesn't affect the usable space. It only affects the AC latch. Okay, then also it comes with the bath too has a window. Okay, so the another thing I like is actually their home shutter is flush here. So they segregate your storage space. Then for the bigger 2-bedroom layout, also gives you a curved window unblocked view. And then the rest are quite similar. This is an L shape. So like very typical 3-bedder, very traditional 3-bedder.
So out of these three, right, actually, people might shy away from the smallest, but we think that one actually offers the best view of the bay and also of the pool view. So I think really give and take see which one you prefer.
View wise, I think is this, but I think for efficiency, I think 904 gives you flexibility to change your layout. 980 feels like it's slightly more spacious, but just nice because your master is big, and then your living room also quite generous also. Okay, so let's run through your 3-bedroom premium. So 3-bedroom premium. For the first one, 1066, it comes with a dry kitchen, but there's no yard. Master bedroom very similar to the 3-bedroom that we saw just now. Then it's basically a traditional living room concept. For 1173, it's a landscape living room. You can do your landscape and then you can just shift here and then you're dining here. If not, this layout also comes with a yard. Okay, difference between the 1066 lah.
You can dry your clothes
more efficiently.
Yeah.
Second difference, actually, you can do a walk-in wardrobe area here, which I think like most of the people now buying properties like this kind of space. And then the third one is actually 1238. 1238 would say is a mixture of both, but plus bigger. So why I say that because there's kitchen, it's also like a longer living room. And then there's also a walk-in wardrobe, and then also your master room space is quite generous. Okay, so the last layout, which is a 4-bedroom premium. 4-bedroom premium come into a landscape living room as well. There's a dry kitchen. I would say this one is like a full dry kitchen. This is like a pantry. Okay, then your wet kitchen, your yard. There's a junior master here as well with a connected toilet. Master bedroom comparing to the 3 premium we saw, right? Actually, this master will give you more space with the full length window unblocked. What I feel that one thing is missing actually is the private lift. It would be nice to have a private lift here because you are buying a 4-bedroom premium in the middle of Singapore city centre. So that will actually add in more points for me. Yeah.
So this one is also stack 19. So stack 19 actually offers you good view of Gardens by the Bay and also the sea. So let's say if there are any fireworks here, you can really enjoy them on National Day or New Year. So I think also very nice.
It's a plus point.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we are almost at the end of the OMG coverage. So what do you think? Do you think that you actually stay here, stay in OMG?
Actually, when I was doing my research, I thought a lot of the things that are upcoming, right, is very exciting. If I didn't have kids or family, I would stay here actually, because it's very close to everything, and I think the amenities and the proximity to Gardens by the Bay is really unbeatable lah. Because actually Singapore, the Bay Area, right, it's going to be quite iconic, and I actually just like living next to something like that. And I think I personally would enjoy taking a run there in the morning. Just very nice lifestyle to have. Enough about me. What about you? Will you stay here?
I feel like this will be the first time that I might, just to think about it, right? I'm okay to stay here because of the new township and then what the government have in store lah. Because when you stay CBD, there's always no announcement of making a new township. It's always I stay in Tanjong Pagar, I always stay beside the office, I always stay all this. It doesn't appeal to me in the element of own stay. Own stay, I want what actually OMG will offer in the future, like the Marina South town, like your food, your neighborhood stuff that will be there. So this project might be the first one that think actually stay in CBD is not bad, or rather the city center is not bad lah.
But then again, I mean even though there's a pro of being the first mover in Marina South, right, there also is a con. I feel actually everything that is being planned for Marina South as a township will take quite a long time to build. And even Marina South MRT, right, they say they will only operate when there's enough people living in there. So when we, let's say, buy into OMG, right, and then we move into it, for example, then I'm just thinking how many more years will I have to tolerate the construction around me, and also wait for things to be built before I can really fully enjoy my neighborhood. So I think that's also one thing to consider. Okay, so then besides living in it, would you invest in it?
I would say I would invest. This time round, I feel like it's easier to actually buy into OMG compared to other projects. If you're really just, I want to put my additional money here, or I just want to put here so that I can, own this property with other people's money, renting out. So because this will be one of the best places in Singapore to get your very secured rental yield. Your tenant pool will always be there because expats will be coming in. When expats think about living in Singapore, definitely they will see the city center. Like how we actually, if you were to, find hotels, then we also find city center. So your rental is quite secure here. But however, really need to take note about the price point that you're going to come into. Then it will actually contribute to the runway that you have in the future lah. So to answer your question, actually, I would consider if I were an investor, especially adding on with it, there's a first mover advantage as well.
Okay, so that is all for OMG. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any other questions about the project or even want us to do a bit more detailed analysis for you, feel free to contact us at this number here.
So that's all from us today. So stay tuned for more videos like this. Bye!
Bye! OMG, OMG, OMG.
OMG, OMG, OMG.